everyone, this is Hala, host of Young and Profiting Podcast.
And this is Jordan, host of Growth Mindset University.
Today we're going to be covering some LinkedIn tips, specifically how to grow your following on LinkedIn. So first, let's talk about targeted connections. This is super important when you're thinking about growing a following. You want to be proactive. So one of the tips that I like to give people is to find others who have similar interests, maybe similar companies as you, maybe, for instance, for me, like another podcaster that might have an audience that's interested in podcasts. Look at those folks and see who their connections are, and then send their connections a personalized invite, inviting them to connect. That will help grow a community who has interest in what you're posting on.
I go to the search bar and I search podcast hosts and I connect with all the podcast hosts out there and I send them a message, proactive in sending them a message, and I say, hey, so-and-so, grateful to be connected with such a well-rounded fellow podcaster like yourself. Cheers, Jordan. And I just start building the relationship from there, and it just makes sense for me to look up podcast hosts and connect with them and start building relationships with them because I do marketing for serious podcasters. I have a friend who sells payroll and who is in charge of making those decisions. Small business owners, the accountants. So she connects with all those types of people because it affects her bottom line.
Exactly. So another thing when it comes to growing your following is to engage in comments. So comments are everything on LinkedIn. Yeah. If you're not in the comment game, you're losing out right now. That's where everything is happening on LinkedIn right now. So one way that you can do well with commenting is to look at an influencer and comment on their posts, like provide valuable content on their posts and create a micro community. So I have a great example of how I created a micro community, and I did this with Gary Vee. So for a period of time, maybe 3 or 4 months, me and my team would follow everyone who liked and commented on Gary Vee's posts. And we would only invite those people to connect if they liked and commented, because we knew those are the people who engage on their posts. We were very strategic about that. We didn't want dead connections who don't go on LinkedIn frequently. So we invited those people to connect with a personalized note, like, hey, what's going on? My name is Hala. I noticed you engage with Gary Vee. People who like his content and podcasts tend to like mine too. I'm looking forward to provide value on your feed. Happy to connect. So those people usually accepted my friend request. We became connections, and then now every time I post on Gary Vee's post, no matter what I say, if I say cool or if I post a picture of a cat, whatever it is, people like my comment and I'm always the top comment. And essentially I built a micro community out of his community, and now every time he posts a post that I comment on, I get those views as well, and I'll get 100 connection requests every time I'm the top comment. So it's a really great strategy to use.
And, you know, if you're first creating content, you're just starting to create content and you're not getting the type of engagement that you would like, the first thing that I would tell you to do is go comment on everyone's post. Become a staple of the community. That's what I did when I first started generating momentum, and how I went to, 5 likes was amazing, and I went to 500. That's like average now. Because I just became a staple in the community. I was commenting on everyone's posts to the point where it was like I was getting messages all the time, and people would even in my local area would see me out and be like, Jordan, you're the only person I see popping up in the LinkedIn feed. And I would joke like, yeah, I'm creating a communist dictatorship where all media is censored except for my post. Because I was posting and I was commenting like crazy all the time. And so people became familiar with me that way. And as we talked about earlier, before when we were off the air, reciprocation.
Exactly.
That's why I say if you're struggling with creating content and getting engagement on your content right now, comment on other people's posts, because they're going to be more likely to reciprocate on your post. You're going to be building a relationship with that person. You get what you give.
People are going to remember that you liked and commented on their posts, and they're going to want to return the favor. Something else that you want to do is retain your following. It's not only about growing a new following. You want to make sure that the people who are engaging on your content feel appreciated, feel wanted, and come back to engage on it every time you post a post. So what you want to do is make sure you comment and like on every single comment on your post. You don't want to be like a snob who doesn't like any of the comments, especially when you're growing a following. Like you don't have that like authority to do that. So you've got to engage those people. And as a bonus, it also boosts your post in the algorithm. So the more engagement you get on your post, even when it's you engaging, it boosts your post in the feed.
Yeah, give at least people a heart. I give the heart emoji to people in response. If you don't have time to read every response and comment, I'll say absolutely and then I'll mention their name to make it a little bit more personal. Just something that says it's a meaningful, I saw it, I read it, and you're positively reinforcing them to comment again in the future on another post.
And as you're noticing the same people commenting over and over, those are your super fans. And you're going to want to really engage those people and get to know them on a personal level.
Message them too.
Message them. Know what they do for a living. Ask them how they're doing that day. Care about their feelings. Ask where they are when they're missing and haven't commented for a while. Actually care about your connections. And speaking of that, meet your connections in real life, like me and Jordan did. We were only LinkedIn friends for a couple of months, and now we've like met up to do these LinkedIn videos, and it's great because, you know, who would you rather give a job to, or who would you rather give an opportunity to? Somebody who you met in real life or somebody who messaged you on LinkedIn? So the last thing we're going to talk about is not only keeping LinkedIn on LinkedIn. You can go ahead and take your LinkedIn post. You just click the 3 dots on your post and copy link to post, and you can share that on other platforms. So for instance, if you have a Slack channel at work, or if you have a Facebook group that you're a part of, or if you have a chat with a bunch of your friends, you can put your link in there, and the more comments and engagement you get right away within like the first 30 minutes to an hour, the more your post is going to get boosted in the feed. So it's a really great strategy to not just keep your LinkedIn posts on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. And another way that I get that engagement, that boost in engagement right out of the gate is I have 3 company pages. I have one for Growth Mindset University, one for Jordan Paris, and one another company. And so as soon as I post something, I will copy the link to the post, paste it in my browser, and then I will comment, and I will like with all of my company pages that post, and then I'll comment with 2 out of the 3 of them. And then I will share on 2 out of the 3 of them, and then I'll like my own post as my own profile. So within a minute, I've got 4 likes, 2 comments, 2 shares, and boom, you're setting yourself up for virality and a much more visible post to a wider audience on LinkedIn.
I hope you guys like these tips. Today we covered how to build a following with targeted connections. We covered the importance of comments. We talked about meeting your connections in real life. And lastly, not only keeping your LinkedIn posts on LinkedIn. Until next time, this is Hala and Jordan signing off. Let us know what you think in the comments. What's the next thing we're going to talk about? Alright, let's go. Energy, high energy, we're going to kill it. Everything's going to be great. Like, you know, I'm so tired that like these things are bothering me. Can we just start over? Alright, let's just start over.
Stop it.